I mean, it turns out that when black women date interracially, they tend to actually be capable of being, good wives and having successful long-term relationships with other races of men, whereas black men can't really say the same. When they're matched with other races of women, they're even less likely to be successful than if they're with black women.
That particular clip is from Cassie West, the Feminine Philosopher, and it was sent to me by Brother Mark Cruz. And pretty much this particular clip is going to explain why black women are better off with white men and black men are the worst off with white women and better off with black women. Let me play the clip in its entirety so you guys can hear what is going on here.
So a white guy is almost 45% less likely to get a divorce if he marries a black woman than if he marries a white woman. It's actually shocking that it's that high. Marriages, including a black husband and a white wife, were more prone to divorce than those composed of black husbands and black wives. So black men are the best off with black women, and they're the worst off of any racial pairing. So Hispanic and black, white and black, white and Hispanic, Asian and Hispanic, out of all the pairings, a black man and a white woman are the least successful statistically. White women are most likely to have a marriage end in divorce than any other race of women. And that's where I get into how it is beneficial for white women to know this. And it's nothing that we should be offended by or anything like that. Again, these are statistics. People have lives that go against statistics every day. Now, here's another similarity between white men and black women. Black women make the least amount when they're with a black man. A white man makes the least amount of money when he's with a white woman. So that is kind of unique. Okay, but this is what I really wanted to get into, because this is shocking. Of all the pairings, right? So the white man with the black woman is the most successful of all interracial pairings, right? That is with the fact that a white husband and a black wife are more likely than any other racial pairing to be going into that marriage as a second marriage with children, both of which substantially make divorce far more likely. So imagine if white men and black women didn't have to wait until they were 50 and divorced with kids to realize that they're actually a good match. Imagine if people were kind of more open from the beginning, just how even more likely to be in successful marriages a white man and a black woman would be. I asked my husband, I was like, how could it be this stark? Does it really just boil down to gratitude? And he was like, you know what, Cassie, I think it does. It's hey, we're both the people that get, all the crap from our respective communities. It's relatable. They can kind of relate on that level. That's my guess as to why, even despite all the odds against them, the white man and black woman is the most successful racial pairing. For black men, you hear a lot of the blame for the low marriage rates, for women not being compliant, women not being submissive, they're not feminine enough, they're not, this or that enough. I mean, it turns out that when black women date interracially, they tend to actually be capable of being, good wives and having successful long-term relationships with other races of men, whereas black men can't really say the same. When they're matched with other races of women, they're even less likely to be successful than if they're with black women. And white women and black men are the absolutely least successful of any racial pairing. So these issues going on where black women are the ones most commonly blamed for the breakdown of the black family, white men tend to be most commonly blamed for the breakdown of the white family. And really, most of the statistics and studies and surveys tend to show that it's the exact opposite. The common denominator in these are actually the black man and the white woman.
All right. So, guys, this is the messaging that is going out. And of course, this is going out on major blogs. Okay. And if you ever heard this particular phrase, for example, why more black women should consider marrying white men. This is coming from Ralph Richard Banks at Stanford University, who is interestingly married to a black woman, but is putting this propaganda out. And I know that a lot of black men are going to say, well, this is something that we don't really care about because like we have our own opportunities and our own options. That is very true. I will not deny that. But here's what I've been seeing on the page. We've been talking about issues about power as a group. I've been hearing many guys deflect, talking about, well, you know what? Black women, they're single moms, or black women, they wear weaves, or black women are, they're getting evicted. So nobody's worried about them. And that's when a lot of black men just don't see the big picture. You're looking at a lot of black women as individuals, but you're not looking at black women as a group, okay? As a group, they are a voting bloc. As a group, they have fashion shows. As a group, they have media. They have Essence. They have Ebony. They have Madame Noir. They have For Harriet. This is what they have as a group. So what happens is, and I'm not saying all black women, but what happens is because they have that machine going, they have the money coming in, they can put this information out there that makes you look very bad. Now, this information is by the Pew Research Center, and it could be very true. But what the article doesn't talk about is these black women that are marrying these white men. How many of them are they? What is their socioeconomic status? Are these black women coming from, black America? Are they did mention single moms, but what are the statistics of these particular people? Did they grow up in a 2-parent home? We don't know this. So these statistics are going out there, and what happens is it demonizes black men such that it nullifies all of your talking points like this.
So I saw a clip where a woman stated black men do not prefer other races. Black women force black men away with their attitude and reluctance to cook and work out. And I have to say it's valid. First, let's understand the majority of married black men are married to black women. However, there's still a mating dilemma within the black American community. Statistically speaking, black American women are disproportionately single and the least desired group of women. 7 out of 10 are unmarried and 3 out of 10 will never marry. And other races of women as well as black men are more likely to marry and be remarried. So the issue can be attributed to their attitude. Because men are the gatekeepers of marriage. They determine who they want to marry. There was even a qualitative study conducted asking married black men why are black women single, with gender conflict being the #1 answer. Because the issue is black women don't respect black men. They see themselves as superior intellectually and even physically. Relationships are a power trip to black women. They value masculine qualities and shun feminine ones. Take pride in being stubborn, difficult, and combative. They overvalue interdependence and undervalue interdependence. All those things are repulsive to men. Black men just want women who respect them and want to work with them. And it's hard to do that with women who think they're better, lack accountability, and think they're always right.
Now, as a group of black men, we all can relate to this situation. And even, I'm going to play this clip about, why black men are going to the passport bro community. I'll play that.
So what were we talking about yesterday? We were talking about how black women created the passport bros. And we were going over the things that black women do, or rather what they don't do, what they've lacked as a group of women that have had black men just checking out. Just, nope. We done. Finito. We're gone. Y'all can have at it. Do what you want to do. We're not dealing with it.
So guys, we all have experienced this. But what you don't understand is we are not, as a group of black men, playing the long game. So because we don't have our own media, our side of the story doesn't really come out. And that's something that a lot of black men are apathetic to. When you are not considered a voting bloc, when you are not considered a group of people who can write your own narrative or tell your own story, somebody can go and, let's say, skew numbers and leave out statistics, and then they can tell the story for you. And we all know that a lot of these black men that are living dysfunctional lives, we know that, hey, well, who raised them? Again, we can't respond to that because we don't have the media. We know that a lot of black men who are having problems. I just saw the big George Foreman movie today. In the movie, he was depicted as not having a dad around. So no resources around. So whose fault was that? It wasn't his fault his dad wasn't there, right? So it would be his dad's fault. And also partly the fact that the mothers chose that particular father for him. That's something that we're not looking at. But because black men don't have the power move, you can't tell your side of the story. And because you can't tell your side of the story, nobody can be sympathetic towards it. And you don't have the think tanks and the resources to get your story out. And you can't even recreate yourself in the media. That's why whenever people like Tyler Perry write a movie, he's never going to depict you for the most part in a nice way. It will always favor towards who? Women. More TV shows favor towards who? Black women. So because of that, you don't get to reap anything out of that industry. For example, a lot of the black men that I know, I had one brother, I'm gonna shout him out, brother Craig Harper. He was close to Kevin Samuels before he even got popular, right? He used to even rent an Airbnb to brother Kevin Samuels in Atlanta before Kevin moved to Atlanta. He told me this flat out. If you want to make it in business in Atlanta, you must cater to black women. As a black male business owner, you must. Most men who write for black media are catering towards black women. Steve Harvey, okay, for an example. Most people, because they feel like you cannot make any money with black men. Now, because of that situation, your story never gets told, and you go out and you say, well, I'm not tripping, I'm living my own life, but these women are failing. No. You're looking at it all wrong. Because what's happening is they're getting things that as a group we won't get. Like I talked about all the time, you have to look at the power moves. Look at what they're getting with Goldman Sachs. Look at what they're getting with another $10 billion right there, plus $100 million in philanthropic money. One guy commented and said, well, if it's 1 million ladies you're trying to help, it's only $10,000 per person. But you're not understanding that $1 billion investment can turn into $500 billion investment if the money is spent right. You're looking on somebody to fail with that money, but you're not understanding if somebody's going to be successful with that money too. And that is money and funding for businesses that you don't have that will allow them to even get more stronger in the media. How many black men do we know help develop Ebony Festival, or Essence Festival, or natural hair shows, or black female empowerment expos, Black Girls Rock? See, that's the power play that black men are not getting into. So therefore, again, you can't get the money to fund your movements. You can't get the voting blocks to fund your movements. You can't change any child support laws to fund your movements because you just don't have the media. So when the Pew Research comes out here, they're going to come out here with these skewed statistics that don't favor your existence. That is why black men have to start to we have to look at these things as a group, because when you don't, you just get left behind all around. And they come out here and give these skewed analytics and skewed stories, and then they go out and they want to put it back on you as the problem, when we all know that if you want to talk about on dating apps, there's a reason why people say black women are the least desired. That's even there, but they're not mentioning that here. They're not mentioning those things. They're not mentioning the other statistics that black men could clap back with. But because you don't have your own media, you can't tell it. You don't have anything on TV. You don't have commercials designed for you, because people look at you as a spending power that doesn't spend money with anybody such that they need to cater to you. So when you look at all of those things, that's where black men have to really look at something and look at each other as a group, as a community with its own issues, its own agendas that need to be met, because black men and black women fundamentally, shout out to Obsidian Media Network when I say this, want different things. But we only know they want different things in the barbershop. We don't know what you want in real time. And that is what makes it very difficult for black men as a group to achieve. It's too much individualism while you're the black man as an individual. But meanwhile, when the black woman and other people like that, and I will include Hispanics, I will include Asians, they're looking at the group. You're trying to roast a sister for how she's doing right now, but you're not looking at in 40, 50 years, how much more better they're going to be doing better than us, because they're going to be getting more help. They're telling their story. So when they tell your story more, you get more help. Look at the civil rights movement. It was designed to tell the stories of the struggles of African Americans such that we got more sympathy. We got more help. But when you don't tell your story and you don't have a platform to tell your own stories, you can't get help. You can't get funding for your ideas. And that's why black men have to really be smart. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. Appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.